We're looking live at Washington this morning right now on Capitol Hill. Congress yesterday passed a landmark bill to recognize Juneteenth as a national holiday. Juneteenth is the day that marks the end of slavery in America. It is the first U.S. federal holiday to be approved since Martin Luther King Jr. Day nearly 40 years ago. Farah Morali is in our Washington bureau this morning. Farah, I am absolutely certain that there are many who say this national holiday is long overdue.
Very long overdue, Heather. This is a day that's been celebrated in this country for many years. Most states already recognize Juneteenth as a holiday with their own celebrations. And what it commemorates is the day that the last African-American slaves learned they were free, which was June 19th, 1865, or Juneteenth. Now, Confederate soldiers had surrendered in April of that year, but it took 2 months for that message to get to the last slaves who were in Galveston, Texas. And keep in mind, this was 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation or Emancipation Declaration, which stated that all slaves in the South should be free. So this is a hugely significant moment in American history. There have been calls for many years for this to be a national holiday, and those calls have grown louder just in the past year following the killing of George Floyd, the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, and really discussions about anti-Black racism coming front and center in the past little while. So this move, this vote yesterday, certainly moving this one step closer to reality now.
There were a handful of Republicans who voted no to this, Farah. Why?
Right. So it's interesting, just to break it down for you, the bill first went to the Senate where it passed. It then went to the House for a vote where it passed 415 to 14. Now, those 14 people who voted against this bill were Republicans, and the reasoning varied. Some said that they believed that this bill was a push from the left to, quote, make Americans feel bad. Others said that they took issue with the name. It's called Juneteenth, National Independence Day. They said it would create confusion with the 4th of July, which is also Independence Day. Now, Democratic Congresswoman Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez pointed out that the 14 Republicans who voted against this bill are all white men.
This is pretty consistent with, I think, the Republican base, and whether it's trying to fight against teaching basic history around racism and the role of racism in U.S. history to, there's a direct through line from that to denying Juneteenth, the day that is widely recognized and celebrated as the symbolic kind of day to represent the end of slavery in the United States.
Now, despite that opposition, we do expect U.S. President Joe Biden to sign this bill into law, which would make Juneteenth a national holiday here in the United States. And whether that happens or not before Saturday, we know that there are going to be celebrations across the country, as there are every year, including here in D.C.
Okay, Farah, thank you very much. Farah Morali from our bureau in Washington.